right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be looking over how to do course selection for the coming school year. This is something that you really need to make sure that you know what's going on and how to do this, because if you don't, I get to pick your classes for you. So, with that being said, let's see here. Question is, what does your future hold? The big thing that we've been talking about, and you guys have heard this over and over, you need to begin with the end in mind. This means that I want you to be thinking about those career goals that you have set for yourselves that we did at the very beginning of this school year. Those things that you're thinking, what do you want to do with your life? Because with that, you got to kind of start with that in mind and then back up and then say, okay, if I want to do this, these are the classes that I need to start thinking about taking even in middle school. So you need to think about exactly what you want to do. You are responsible for picking the electives you want for next school year. You're also in 8th grade, you can start taking some of those high school level classes. So that's something that you need to be thinking about as well. Do you want to be working in that advanced section, or do you want to be in the standard level section? Either is acceptable, but either, you need to be considering what's going to be the best for you. Now, let's not get ahead of ourselves, because before you start taking those classes that you want to take next year, you have to pass this school year first. I'm going to be honest, there are more than a few of you who that are not in a position to move on to 8th grade next year. This is something where you need to pass the full year of your electives. Or not of your electives, sorry, of your classes. So you need to earn a D or higher for the full year. Now, if you didn't pass the first semester, you've got to make up this course in summer school. If you don't pass the second semester, you need to make that up in summer school. That means, for example, if you took 7th grade English and you did not pass first or second semester, you have to take first and second semester this summer in summer school. Now, while you're sitting there thinking about that, please remember that summer school costs at least $100 per semester. So if you didn't pass 2 semesters, you're looking at least $200 to make that credit up. So please make sure that you're making wise decisions. You're, again, beginning with the end in mind, and you're thinking about how you are going to get those classes and those credits that you need in order to pass, because we don't want to see you guys again in 7th grade. I'm pretty sure you don't want to be in 7th grade again. But if you don't take the classes, that's where it's going to be. So please know you need a D or higher. That means make sure you're talking to your teachers, make sure you're asking questions, make sure you're finding out from your friends what's the homework, make sure you're handing in your homework. All those little things are the things that add up. The more zeros you get, the lower your grade is. So please make sure that you're paying attention to what homework needs to be done, what classwork needs to be done. All right, you've heard me say that. Make sure you remember that. Pass your classes. Because if you don't pass your classes, none of this actually matters. Now, how do you pick your electives? You'll need to use the website. This is the same as last year. So if you are a returning student from last year, you will have seen this before. Starting February 13th, that is Monday, today, until March 10th, you will be able to select the courses using an online form. Now, there is also a course selection guide which will be posted on the website. That will tell you exactly what the course is. I don't teach the courses. I don't know. So if you come and you ask me, hey, Miss Dunn, what's going to be, what's this global studies class about? I'm going to be able to tell you, I have absolutely no idea. Read the course selection guide. Okay, the course selection guide is going to be really important in helping you figure out what the classes really are, because if you sign up for something and then you come back to me next year and say, oh, I didn't know what that was, I'm not going to be able to help you with that. Now, you'll be automatically registered for the classes you're required to take, so math, English, science, etc. The accelerated sections of those are teacher recommendations. So you don't have to worry about turning any forms to get into an accelerated class or an advanced class. That's something where your teachers will give me a list, and you will be, based on your test scores, based on your overall class score, you will be able to you'll be able to just be put into those classes without having to worry about anything. So don't worry about that. The big thing for 7th grade moving into 8th grade is you guys need to make sure that you're picking your electives based on, the classes that you are needing to take, okay? Now, let's see here. Question is what happens if you forget to do the course selection? I then get to pick your courses for you. So you know that, and I've had this conversation with many of you, that if you choose to not hand in a form, I'm so sorry. If you end up in a class that you absolutely can't stand, I'm not going to be able to do anything for you, because the course selection, that gives you the right to be able to choose what courses you want. If you don't take advantage of it, that's your own fault. Also, please know that we do place students in electives starting with the oldest students, so the 6th and 7th graders are less likely to get all the electives they want. That puts you 7th graders in a position where you are going to be able to get more classes that you want. Now, please remember, we do not guarantee all of the classes. So please don't think just because you're going into 8th grade, you're going to get to have every single class that you want. That is not necessarily the case. You will be able, we really do try our best to try to get you into the classes that you want, but based on certain schedules, there's different things that wind up and you may not get all of the courses that you want. We try though. Now, this is kind of what the form looks like. I'm going to go ahead and show you what the form looks like officially for your class. Oh, that's the current 7th graders. Okay. This is basically what yours looks like, but ignore. Now, please note, so I pulled up this incorrectly, but see up here where it says 2017-18 grade course selection form, current 6th graders, the one that you choose off of the website should say 8th grade course selection form, current 7th graders. So please make sure you choose the right form, because if you fill in the wrong form, I can't help you. All right, just make sure you fill in the correct form. Everything will be basically exactly the same. So you'll have your name, middle name, last name, put in your student ID number. Now, let me show you something. Here where it says current student grade level. When you drop down, remember I pulled up the wrong form, so the only selection is 6th grade. The form that you select, the only selection that you should have is 7th grade. That is how you will know you are at the right form. Again, on the drop down for students grade for next school year, right here, it will say 8th grade on your form. Okay, so please remember, this is it. There's pretty much no way to get the wrong form, and if you do get the wrong form, I'm not going to feel sorry for you. So make sure that you get the one that says 8th grade course selection form at the top. Make sure that it has the current grade level all correct. Required courses for 8th grade, again, I'm sorry, I have the wrong thing on here, but you'll have English, you'll have either pre-algebra or algebra, depending on what math class you're in right now. You'll have Science 8, you'll have World Geography, and then you'll have 2 electives. Now, remember how we said advanced placement in any course will be filled by teacher referral only. So that means that the teachers, like for example, your math teacher, Miss Kerr, will be putting together a list of students that she thinks will be able to be successful based on your class grade, as well as based on your overall, your testing grades. So she will put the list together of students who will be eligible for algebra and students who will be placed into pre-algebra. Pre-algebra is the standard level 8th grade math class. Algebra is the accelerated class. Now remember, if you are placed into algebra, that is a high school level credit. So that is a chance for you to start getting those credits that you need for graduation. Remember, if you're going into algebra, that is, again, a high school level credit. So it's going to be higher expectations. Your teacher is going to expect a lot out of you. You need to make sure that you are doing all the stuff you need to be doing, getting that homework, talking to your teacher, asking questions. That's going to be something that's really important, especially in those high school level classes. Now, if you want a student or office aide, you need to make sure you get a specialized course request form from the front desk and submit it by the deadline of April 15th. That is something that is, it's on the website, or you can get it from the front desk. So, but those are really only for student or office aides. Now, just a heads up, Student office aid, we are very, very particular about. So if you think that that might just be an easy job for you to get, we do go through, we check over all behavior things. We look at any discipline files. So if you have, we also look at grades. So students who are in that office aid or student aid position are sitting in a position, are sitting there because they have high grades and no discipline issues. So it's something to think about. If you have some of those issues, then you are not necessarily likely to get that course. So make sure that you got some backup ideas. Now, um, when you choose your electives, you will see this drop down box right here, elective preference. You just drop down and you get to pick whichever one of these electives looks good to you. We've got several options. We've got lots of different things that you could try. And it's something where, like we've said, think about the courses that you should be taking to help prepare you for that future career. So if you are thinking, oh, I'd really like to go into being maybe a doctor or going into nursing or doing something along those lines, then I would say this personal health and wellness class might be a really good option for you, or the middle school robotics, because if you're looking at that medical realm, then you also have to understand that there's a whole lot of science that goes with that. If you think, oh, I'd really like to be a journalist, or I'd really like to go into public speaking, then something along the lines of that, maybe leadership, creative writing. Those are really good things to start getting you into some of those, kind of just getting you prepared for some of those classes. If you say, oh, well, Miss Dunn, but I want to go into law. Okay, sounds great. Then again, some of, that social studies explorations class, that Latin culture studies, global studies, learning about other things, because law is all about learning about how the law works, not just in one little way, but kind of across the country, across the world. Now, like I said, you do get to select 3 preferences. Please make sure you put your elective preference 1. This will be the one that we aim to try to get you into, and then 2 and 3 are your alternatives. Please know that we will not change your class because you don't like your teacher. We may change classes in order to try to balance sections. Many of you experienced that already at the semester when we made some changes to the math classes. And then the other things, the only reasons we really change schedules are if you were accidentally placed in a 6th grade level class when you're in 8th grade, or if you didn't pass the full level of your classes over, during the school year. So let's say you didn't pass that 7th grade science class and we retained you in 7th grade, but you took it over the summer. If you did successfully complete it over the summer, then we would go ahead and change your classes in order to reflect what grade level that you would be promoted up to. So that's all that stuff about electives. Now, here's the other part of this. We do require parent verification, which means that your parents have to be involved in this. Now, you can see here, parent guardian first name, parent guardian last name. This information needs to be filled out by your parent or guardian. Here's the deal. If you decide to fill this in for your parent or guardian, and then they come to me and they say, but Miss Dunn, I didn't agree. I don't want my student in any of those electives that you've put them in. And I say, well, but look, this has everything that, these are exactly the electives that you and your child chose. Then we're going to have an interesting conversation when your parent or guardian realizes that you filled in their name for them. So please make sure that you do this form with whoever's at home. Make sure that they are, aware of what this is and how it is influential to your school. Now, right down here, this is a really important thing. I have received the notification letter and returned it to the school with my signature, yes or no. This is, the notification letter is the letter that you will be receiving either at the end of this class or if you've already received it. This is the letter. It goes home. It has all of the dates on it, and it needs to come back to the school. If you do not have a parent, if you don't turn in this notification letter, we will not consider your electives. So you need to hand this in. There's absolutely no way that we will take your elective preferences into consideration if you do not hand this form in. So, long story short, hand this form in. Now, at the bottom, this form is for rising 7th graders only. Like I said at the beginning, I pulled up the wrong form, so we're just going with it. Yours, when you fill it out, will say this form is for rising 8th graders only. If you submit a course preference form for the wrong grade level, your request will be deleted. So please remember that you have got to get the right form handed in at the right time. These are all on the website. You can see Losee Middle and High School College Prep Academy. This is directly off of our website. Now, let's go back over here so I can show you a little bit. I'm going to show you the form, the other form that needs to be filled out. Okay, last key points, and this is on the parent notification form. February 13th to March 10th is the selection period. Just do it. Here's the thing. You do it as soon as you get home or before this weekend, and then you don't forget about it. If you forget about it, what happens? I get to pick your electives. So this is something I am just going to remind you. Please do not forget about this. The easiest thing to do is to take it home, sign it, do it today, because then we can be assured that you will get as many of your top choice electives as you would like. Now, remember, you have to have parent approval. Please have your parents sign the form that you have. Now, this is what the form looks like. If you look at this form, notification of upcoming registration, says over the next few weeks, we will begin preparing students for the course registration for the 2017-18 school year. Please review the following information and sign the form at the bottom and return it to school no later than February 28th. This form, this one, must come back to school no later than February 28th. What happens if it comes back on February 29th? I realize it's not a leap year, don't worry. If it comes back after February 28th, you will not be allowed this, your requests will not be honored. So this is something you've got to get this form in. Again, the sooner you do it, the better off you are. Now, February 13th to 24th, students are learning about course registration and elective request process. That is what's happening right now. You are learning about the course registration and request process. This letter is being handed out to you. You have the letter. The February 13th, that is today, the course selection guide posted to the middle school, high school website. Online forms will become live on the website, so you can leave this class and go home and talk with a parent and fill it out. Please don't do this at lunch, because if you fill out the online form at lunch, that means you don't have your parents and you're forging their signature. So, course selection guide and elective course request is all on the website starting today. Just do it as soon as possible. You've got the signed notification letter for parents due to school, like we said, February 28th. Just get it done. You have until March 10th to make your course selections. But remember, if you forget about it and March 11th you want to come to me and you want to get something in, then that's unfortunate. So sorry, too late. So what's the easiest thing to do? Just do it. Now, March 10th, if you are requesting placement in accelerated or advanced or special electives, you have to submit the specialized course request form. So that's that student aid office aide position. The one other class that you could potentially take, and I want you guys to really consider this is something really important. 8th graders are allowed to take Spanish 1. That is the only other high school level course that middle schoolers can take. But taking Spanish 1, it is a high school level course, which means you get high school credit for it. This is a really good option because it is so important in order to get a foreign language, in order to get into colleges. Colleges are looking for people that have minimum of 2, but really they want to see students with 4 to 5 years of a foreign language. That's just what colleges, the really good colleges are looking for, those students who have put in that extra time. So I would strongly suggest that you choose to do that Spanish 1 elective, with that, you do need to make sure that you are aware of all the requirements for it. It is, again, a high school level class, so it's a little bit more challenging, but it is something that would be very, very beneficial for you as you go through your high school career. So let's see here. That was due by March 10th. Course selection guide, it's a document online, like I've already said. The course selection guide, I don't know the answer to what is this class all about. The course selection guide does. So make sure you read that over if you are questioning what is this all about. Then what are online course request forms? Those are online, what I've just shown you. All right, so here's the back of this form. You need to put your name at the top, your grade level over here. This is your 2017-18 grade level. That's next year's grade level. That is, do not write 7th grade here. You need to write 8th grade here because this is for next school year. All right, then at the bottom, you need to have your parent or guardian sign, sorry, this cut off, so first name, last name written here, and then sign at the bottom. This needs to be in by February 28th. I don't think this can be much clearer. We've got the due dates there. We've got the dates listed on here. This is something that you just need to make sure that you follow up on and really follow through. Now, like I said, have your parents sign the form. Remember, your parents also have to put their online signature when you enter that form. Please don't make me have that conversation with your parents that you somehow must have submitted a form without talking with them first. It's not a comfortable conversation for any of us. So please make sure that you do that. Talk to your parents about this. All right, that's basically the story. A couple of key reminders. Pay attention to those dates. If you remember those dates, February 13th to March 10th. March 10th is the selection period. Have it done. February 28th is when that form needs to be handed back. So you've got to get that form back by the 28th. You've got to get that online course selection thing done by March 10th. Just do it early. Just do it as soon as you can, because the sooner you do it, the less likely you are to forget about it. I do happen to have a fairly good understanding of how much you guys have a tendency to forget to hand things in. So if you're trying to pull but Miss Dunn, can I have an extension? The answer is no. You've got to get those in by that time. Okay, so to wrap things up, course selection. You know the dates, you know the times, you know what you got to do. Make sure that you are choosing classes based on your interests, based on what you think would be beneficial for you, not what you think your best friend is going to be doing. Because here's the deal. Your best friend may or may not be back. Your best friend may or may not have good choices when it comes to the electives. Your best friend may be the worst person for you to be in class with because your best friend may be the person that you talk to all the time and therefore you get in trouble for. So really consider the fact that you should be considering what classes you want to take, not based on what your friends are doing, but what you want to do. What's going to be best for you. That's really the only way to go about taking this seriously. Please make sure you get this done. I feel like I can't say that enough. I need you guys to make sure you get it done. Make good choices. Think about what you want to do. Think about where you want to go. If you have questions, I will be back at school at some point. I can help some with this, but obviously it's mostly online. You guys did it last year. I hope that you can handle that. I hope you can kind of figure it out and just kind of go from